Sunak should say what he's got to offer, Truss should say what she's got to offer, and the membership should vote in turn. But what's happening here is that Rishi's offering something that I consider quite socialist, government handouts, and Liz Truss is offering something that I consider quite conservative, cutting taxes, allowing people to keep more of the money that they earn. That's a good way to grow an economy. Fantastic. But if he can't compete on a conservative policy, he should not drag her down to his level and potentially ruin her government.
Dawn Neesom, I mean, it's so ironic, isn't it? Because the blue-on-blue attacks, as far as I can see, are coming from Team Sunak, not from Team Truss.
It does seem to be more that way, and you do have to wonder, there's a little hint of misogyny involved in this as well. But for once in my life, I actually agree with Gordon Brown on this.
Oh, really?
I know. Gordon Brown said during the week that what they need to do now is Boris Johnson needs to get his bottom back from holiday, which he's done, obviously, today. Well done, Boris. And bang their heads together and actually unite and sort out the cost of living crisis rather than tearing one another apart. It's like watching kids in a playground. It is just embarrassing. And it's just what is the point? You know, and Rab saying, well, Liz Truss is going to destroy the vote for the Tories. No, by Rab doing what he did is going to destroy it. It's not helping, is he?
No, and I completely agree with that. But Nigel, what I don't disagree with is that there should be some emergency, sort of temporary caretaker government with Boris teaming up with Truss and Sunak. No. At the moment, the support package that is in place is to deal with this mess through to October. There is a democratic process going on through the Tory party right now. I believe it's very critical that that democratic process plays out, because what we saw with Andrea Leadsom essentially handing the throne to Theresa May, what we saw there was that was bad for the Tory party in the end, because Theresa May was not tested. So I think it's incredibly important that this process plays out. And then the new Prime Minister is in post on September the 5th. You know Westminster. Most folk in Westminster do very little work throughout August anyway. So I don't feel like there is this emergency at the moment. Yes, what's coming is very bad. I'm not trying to undermine that. But I don't feel there needs to be some sort of bizarre Boris, Truss and Sunak stitch-up, because that's not democratic.
Well, I actually agree with you, because there is an emergency. Gordon Brown is quite right about that. But these are strange times. The solution to it is not to try and get them around a table. How would it work? It would be totally impractical. At the moment that Rishi Sunak's economic policies are so far away from Liz Truss's, there's no way they could ever agree on any kind of package at the moment. So as a result of that, this has got to play out. I don't mind the Tory party ripping themselves apart. That's because I'm a Labour supporter. That's up to them if they want to go on blue and blue attacks. But at the moment, when it comes down to the detail, Liz Truss's tax cuts are economically illiterate. All they would do is fuel inflation, because the tax cuts would go to everybody who is working, even those who don't need it. And that means those who don't need it would spend that extra money, and that would fuel inflation. Much better to have targeted handouts to the people who really do need it, because they don't have any money, they won't be spending any extra.